Hey everybody, it's Steve, Short Shift Garage. I got a call from a buddy of mine, and he brought me a problem that I think you guys might be able to benefit from a little knowledge about. Um, we got into a conference call, and I showed him some things. But what it was about was he had made some changes, and his car drivability changed. And um, I don't want to confuse the issue with what the changes were. They're pretty high level. But his drivability changed, and the car just, it didn't feel right. It was, jerky and things like that. And as soon as he said it was jerky, I knew what it was. And it's something called hysteresis. And hysteresis is kind of like a buffer. Okay. I can explain. Let me show you. And it becomes a little more understandable if I show you a setting in the tune that it relies heavily on hysteresis. So let me switch over to the desktop, and we'll look at our base set point for our idle RPM. So we're in idle RPM. You can use this if you want to go follow along or whatever. You have your base RPM, which is 560. So that's where, if everything is absolutely normal, you should be in your 500. Your idle should be around 560 RPM. Just side note: unless you've put the cam in and you need to raise it, don't do this. Don't change it. Leave it alone. I digress. Back on track. What is hysteresis? Well, you're going to see hysteresis here, and it's going to be spelled HYS. Sometimes it's HYST. It depends on how much room they have to what they put in there. But it's always going to be some number other than the minimum and the maximum. Now, what does the minimum mean? Well, in order for the vehicle to be eligible for a 560 RPM idle, it needs to be at a coolant temperature of 140 degrees. That turns on the eligibility. And I use that turned on term or terminology because that's what it really does. It just says, okay, you hit 140 degrees, you're now eligible for a 560 RPM idle, provided everything else is in line. And there could be a dozen other factors, but we're just going to look at this right now. On the maximum side, it says, hey, yeah, and this is the best example. You just hit a 230 degree threshold. We're taking away your eligibility for a 560 RPM idle because we need to get some more coolant through this thing. We need to raise your idle so that the water pump runs faster, and that will help to get this coolant temperature down. Okay, so you're following along with me now? We have an action, we have a reaction. We're no longer eligible for this because we need to speed up the RPM so that we can get more coolant through the system. But what happens if it drops by 1 degree? Does that eligibility return? And the answer to that is, thank God, no, because we have a hysteresis. Now, the hysteresis says, okay, you hit 230 degrees, we're speeding the car up, we're bringing it down, it's starting to come down, but until you get down to 230 degrees minus 37 degrees or 193 degrees, we're not going to make you eligible again. So once it gets down to that 193 degrees, or actually 192, then it becomes eligible again. So what it does, it gives the car enough time through this buffer to actually get the coolant temperature back down to where it needs to be. And then if it rises again, it's going to do the same thing over and over again and just continually cycle that. So, but that's how hysteresis works, and that's why we use it. We can use that, obviously, if you think about it now, we can use it in things like throttle response. We can use it, just several other areas. There's, we could use it a little bit in our fueling. So if you can see how it works, and now you can possibly understand if you make a change to something, does the hysteresis still apply the way it's supposed to? And in most cases, it is. But in some cases, it is not. It will overlap, maybe, with a minimum and maximum. And it starts overlapping, then you get stuck in a weird state where it just gets real jerky and everything else. You got to fix those overlaps. And you'll see it. But you have to, when you're making a change, because, the old saying, if you make one change one place, you have to follow the entire path to know how it's going to affect everything else. And if you come across a point where there is a hysteresis involved, you need to do the math and decide whether or not the hysteresis applies, or whether in its current settings, or whether you need to change it. So it's it's one of those things. It definitely never ever zero out hysteresis. You'll be just mad. I've seen people do it, but don't do it. Set it, get it correct, make your car drive smoother and better. So that's basically what it is. I won't confuse it anymore, but I think you can understand how that works now. And we'll get back to the desktop. Yep. So now you got an idea of what hysteresis is. You know that, again, you make changes, you definitely have to follow through the entire sequence of events that change can make. And if you come across something like hysteresis that no longer applies, you're going to have to correct it if you want to maintain your drivability. And there's sometimes, and a lot of times, the hysteresis, you won't make a big enough change to bother it, but it's still worthy of a check. My buddy did make a huge change. He actually fat-fingered a change, and that's where we found the problem was. He made a change much bigger than he should have made, and that was what the hysteresis was overlapping, and of course that's where the drivability issues came from. But he had made a mistake. But since we checked the hysteresis, we knew where he made the mistake. But yeah, just keep an eye on it, check it. You start feeling drivability issues, you can adjust it to get rid of some of those problems. I know there's one that people complain about all the time, and that's in the transmission. And about 25 miles an hour, under 185 degrees, the transmission will sometimes seem like it's going in and out of gear. It's actually cutting fuel. So there's a hysteresis for that, and you can actually modify that. But that's another subject another day. All right, guys, you all take care. Have a good one. Oh, don't forget to watch Roadkill Nights tomorrow. If you have to find it somewhere on your streaming app someplace. It's the Motor Trend channel. So it'll be Roadkill Nights, and they're supposed to come out with a big announcement as to what the next super duper charger is going to be, or whatever. I don't know what it may not even be a charger. They may just be talking about the trucks. But I'm going to watch it, so you guys should maybe too. All right. All right, you all take care. You have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.